Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching and truth and sincerity. Lesson will be entitled, You Have Said, Lord Will You Are Edified. Video was inspired by remarks made by Donald Trump, fair use. And this comes from the YouTube platform page Fox 11 LA. Video entitled, Trump admits he may not go to heaven. Fair use.
You had talked a couple of weeks ago, you were doing an interview, and you talked about how you hope to end the war in Ukraine because it might help you get into heaven. How does this help? Does this help?
I mean, I'm being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think.
Okay, and this is where Donald Trump is wrong. He will appear in both heavens, the spiritual realm, okay, and also the kingdom of heaven, which makes two. So, with that being said, let's go to Job chapter 3 and 11. Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the spirit when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees prevent me, or why the breast that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and been quiet. Meaning, if he died, his spirit would have returned to the spiritual realm. I should have slept, then had I been at rest, meaning he would be at peace. With kings and counselors of the earth, Donald Trump is a king of the earth. Hell, he's the president of the United States. With kings and counselors of the earth which built desolate places for themselves, or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as in hidden untimely birth, I had not been as infants which never saw life. Verse 17, there the wicked cease from troubling. And what did he say? Okay, he stated indirectly he's the wicked. For him to doubt that he probably won't get into heaven, he's the wicked. And according to Malachi 1 and 4, the wicked are the Edomites, based on the lineage of their fathers going back to their progenitor Esau. Okay, so dare the wicked cease from troubling, and dare the weary be at rest. Now, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 20. All go into one place, including the wicked. So everybody we see on earth, including the wicked and the other nations, male and female, all report to the spiritual realm via death. All are of the dust. All have a biological father and mother, and all turn to dust again. Once the spirit is separated from the body breaks down starting around the fourth day. So let's go back to 17. There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. Verse 18. There the prisoners rest together, they hear not the voice of the oppressor. Verse 19. The small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. And this setting is the spiritual realm. So let's go to Numbers chapter 14 and 18. Yahweh is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the sons unto the third and fourth generation. And Salakia, let me say children, so we all come back around the third and fourth generation. So again, Donald Trump is going to heaven. Now, let's get Luke chapter 16 and 19. There was a certain rich man who is a representation for the Edomites, beginning with their nobility. Now, the rich man, or the Edomites, are so-called white people whose lineage goes back to Esau on their father's side, which was clothed in purple and fine linen and far sumptuously every day, meaning he was blessed. Okay, he's in his kingdom, so he's blessed. He's in heaven per se. Verse 20, and there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores. So Lazarus is catching hell in Esau's heaven, in the rich man's heaven. So Lazarus is catching hell in the rich man's heaven. The Israelites are catching hell in the Edomites' heaven. Okay? So-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are catching hell in so-called white people's heaven. That's how it goes. So there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. He's in his kingdom. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus which was laid at the gate full of sores. Now the sores is symbolic for the curses spoken of in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, beginning around the 15th verse. Verse 21, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs, these other nations, allies of Esau, which are spoken of in Psalm the 83rd chapter, came and licked his sores, meaning they became rich and wealthy. They benefited from our curses. Verse 22, and it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom, which is symbolic for the kingdom of heaven. The rich man also died and was buried. Verse 23, and in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and saw Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. So Lazarus, okay, which is a representation for the nation of Israel, is thriving in the kingdom of heaven. It's our heaven, and by default, our heaven is their hell, referring to so-called white people and these other nations, okay? Verse 24, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. So Esau is going to catch hell, and guess what? Donald Trump is going to catch hell in the kingdom of heaven. Okay? They will be enslaved. Now, when I say they, that starts with the nobility of Edom. Remember, they're not going to be in America. So they're going to be the first fruits of slavery. And when Donald Trump, if he's still here in America, comes back on earth through the process of reincarnation, he will be enslaved. That's how it goes. So, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. So Esau, okay, the Edomites, so-called white people, will catch hell in our heaven. But Abraham said, son, remember you in your lifetime. So what's his lifetime? His kingdom, right? Remember, verse 19, this rich man was clothed in purple, fine linen, and he fared sumptuously every day, okay? But Abraham said, son, remember that in your lifetime, your kingdom received you good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things, but now he's comforted, and you are tormented. Verse 26, NOT, and besides there is a great chasm separating us. No one can cross over to you from here, and no one can cross over to us from there. All right, so yes, Donald Trump will be in the kingdom of heaven as a slave, okay? And let me get one more. Bind kings. Psalm 149 verse 4. For Yahweh takes pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Okay, verse 5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud on their beds. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance on the heathen. Okay, let's read that again. To execute vengeance on the heathen, beginning with Esau and these other nations, and punishments on the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. Okay, Abraham's bosom, or the kingdom of heaven, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all the saints, praise you, Yahweh. So again, Esau, okay, and Donald Trump and Donald Trump's fellow Edomites, they will all come back in the kingdom of heaven, okay, through the process of reincarnation, and of course, the the international bankers, their nobility will be the first fruits of slavery. Okay, so yes, Donald Trump, you will appear in heaven in the spiritual realm, okay, and you will be in the kingdom of heaven as a slave. So Lord will, this was edifying. Shalom.